Hi everyone, and today I'm going to be talking about interlacing and why it bothers me so much. So what interlacing is something left over from the old days of television broadcast. The idea is when you capture a video, it is at 30 frames per second or whatever, but in order to save on bandwidth and get a higher quality signal, when you're transmitting that, basically what you'll do, you'll capture the upper lines of a video frame and the lower lines of the video frame sort of offset. So that way, when you're transmitting video, you are only transmitting half the lines of the entire picture at one time. And that would obviously save on bandwidth, but that also means when you display it on a computer monitor and you see those two different frames at once, if you have an object that is in motion or anything like that, you will see weird distortion like this example that I'm going to show on the screen right now. Now, on a old CRT television, this wasn't so much of an issue. That television would sort of just smooth out all these problems, but now that we're in the era of sort of internet video and LCDs and stuff like that, this is a major issue. Now, normally deinterlace functions will work just fine, they'll solve all your problems, but when you run into problems is when you want to scale video. So basically, if you have a 720p video and you're making it bigger so that it will fit a 1080p frame, or if you have 1080p video and you want to make it into a 720p signal, and you want to make the whole entire frame all the way out to the edges on either side fit in the picture. This requires scaling, and basically the lines are getting, well, messed up. This also happens if you rotate or move anything around in any way, and basically you have these interlacing lines like those examples that I showed you. Here, I'll show you another one. This is what happens, say, if you were fast forwarding through a clip, you might see something like this. And basically, it's just a pain. And my question is, why are we still shooting in interlaced? We have plenty of storage, we've got plenty of bandwidth to transmit stuff, and while traditional cable may not be able to handle this with internet stuff like that, I don't know why cameras are shooting natively in this format anymore, especially consumer cameras. Because if you are shooting in 60i, that is 60 fields per second interlaced, that's what the I stands for. Also in 1080i and 720i, you don't really see that as much anymore, but that also existed. What you really want these days is 720p, 1080p. You don't want 1080i. That's just going to be a pain, especially for web video. So one more thing I want to mention, and that is the thing that bugs me the most, and that is Final Cut. Now, I don't use Final Cut at home, but I have used it at my school before, and the thing that is really annoying with Final Cut and interlacing is that Final Cut is heavily made to be used in TV, and that means it wants to interlace everything. Even if you have progressive footage, it wants to take that and make it into an interlaced signal. Now, there is an option in the sequence settings that says sequence, or not sequence dominance, but field dominance none, and by default that is set to upper, and that is pretty annoying to me. And that means I have had so many projects just ruined by interlacing, and they're irrecoverable. And that means that I have so many projects that are just irrecoverable because of the sequence settings, and now since they're exported and in a final QuickTime file, there's nothing you can do, especially because of the scaling. Now, you could run a deinterlace on it if it hadn't been scaled, but since it's been scaled to different resolutions and stuff like that, mixing and matching formats is really not going to work out that well. In fact, in some cases, deinterlace doesn't even work because it has no idea which lines are interlaced and which lines are not. Now, there probably is some sort of very taxing process that could figure that out, but I still have yet to come across the solution. And with that, I do promise that my next video will be a little bit more positive. And so thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon with another video.